Hello friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm often asked about the color of my fish. How is it that I'm able to get the kinds of colors that I get out of the fish, even in African cichlid tanks where very often there'll be a few dominant fish that are colored up and the other ones can be a little dull. Let's talk about how I get the best color out of my fish. If you're new to the channel and you haven't already done so, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up, and that notification bell. Let YouTube know that something good is going on at this channel. And let's keep on growing. I think our next target is 100,000 subscribers. That's a pretty steep target. All right, let's get into fish color. Point number one that you have to take into consideration is lighting. And that can take on many different aspects. One of the things I really like is adjustable lighting. You can actually wash your fish out with lights that are too bright. I also like full spectrum lighting. So even though the lights might be sold as lights that are good for plants, I like them for fish. When I've had setups where sunlight could get on the fish, that was the best lighting I've ever seen on fish, sunlight. The closest that we have to that in lighting is full spectrum lighting. Now, some of you might complain or be concerned about algae growth with full spectrum lighting. That's just something you have to deal with, and the truth is that it hasn't really been a problem in my aquariums, especially if you stay on top of your maintenance. So lighting is important. Be sure that the area that your light is sitting on is clean. Very often the cover of your aquarium, like your glass top, can become very cloudy with mineral buildup, algae, things like that. Be sure that that cover is clean so that your light can do its job and get through to light up the fish. Okay? So lighting is very important. Number two is food. A healthy fish is going to be more colored up, and to get that kind of vibrant health, you're going to need to provide your fish the best food you can afford. Some food out there is very, very expensive, so we got to take all these factors into account. Currently, I'm using Extreme, I'm using Sarah, I'm using Piscine Energetics, I'm using some Northfin, I'm using frozen food like frozen krill for my African cichlids, a cichlid delight product from omega-1 for the other cichlids and fish, and also worms, frozen worms for the fish, not for the African cichlids, but for the other fish. They get frozen worms. So, give them variety. Be familiar with the type of food that they need. If they need vegetables in their diet, be sure that those are being provided. If they need more of a high protein diet, just be aware, just do a little research and find out what the best food is for your particular fish, and don't cut corners when it comes to picking up food. Get the best quality you can. Number three, if you have aggression in your aquarium and it is a constant source of harassment for a number of fish, those fish are going to be colored down because they are trying to disappear. So you've got stress and you have dominance coming into play. So the pecking order in the tank. Now, an occasional chase, an occasional nip every now and then, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a fish that is continually asserting their dominance, chasing fish off into corners, hitting them on the sides, nipping their fins. If you have that going on, your color is going to be, the color of your fish is going to be compromised. So watch for that and address it very quickly. I have a lot of videos on how to address aggression in an aquarium. Coming from a background of African cichlids, I'll post a link up above on that playlist. And of course, I also have a playlist on food and also some recent videos on lighting. And I'll include all those as links in this video. The other point is the impact that your background and that your substrate can have on the color of your fish. This is often unappreciated or not even considered when people consider the color of their fish. I have found that a black background makes fish really look the most rich and really pop the most. I found other kinds of backgrounds, whether it's no background or a light colored background, can sometimes wash the fish out. Now keep in mind, everything I'm talking about works in conjunction. So your background works in conjunction with your food, works in conjunction with water quality, with tank mates. It all fits together. It's all moving parts, and it's, as I've mentioned before, a fluid situation. But if you have a light substrate, a white substrate, you might be getting a washed out fish. Some people theorize that that has to do with trying to blend in into the bottom so that attacks from above, like predator birds or even predatory fish that attack from above, will have less of a chance of spotting them, that they'll be more camouflaged if they match the substrate. I love a neutral substrate, a mix of black and white, a gray, a very light tan. That is my favorite substrate, even though currently I do have some substrate that is white in my planted tank. I do find that that substrate can wash the fish out just a little bit. So look at substrates, look at backgrounds. That is having an impact on the color of your fish. And I'll never forget when I changed a tetrastigma, an autopharynx tetrastigma, from a black sand, black background tank to a light sand tank in California. It was a completely different looking fish, and it just really educated me on this. Number 5, this would seem very obvious, right? The quality of your water. If your fish are under some kind of stress because they're living in water quality that isn't being properly maintained, you're not doing the right water, you're not doing enough water changes, your filtration isn't being maintained correctly, you're not getting the right amount of water turnover. I like to see 5 to 10 times per hour turnover in your aquarium. So if you have a 100-gallon aquarium, to get 10-time turnover, you need 1,000 gallons per hour moving through your filters, keeping in mind that that gallon per hour amount is reduced by the amount of filter media that is in your filters. So water turnover, and so that's important. Water quality, proper filtration, maintenance schedule, right? The other point I look at is the parameters of the water. Are the fish living in water that is suitable for the kind of fish that they are? Is the pH right? Is the hardness right? What's the temperature? Are they in a temperature range that's right for them? Again, this is you needing, just like I had to do, go and do a little research, find out where these fish are most comfortable. And if they're not struggling or under stress because they're having to adjust to a parameter that is way different, fish can adapt to parameters that are a little off. But if it's way off, that fish is going to be a bit under stress, and their resources are not going to be in the area of being colorful. Their resources are going to be in the area of fighting off disease, stress, and things of that nature, right? Color is something that you would see in expressing dominance or in getting into breeding dress, right? Trying to attract a mate. Those kind of things occur when the fish is comfortable. So it's not going to be when they're under a certain amount of stress. So your parameters have to be right. Point number 7 is meeting the fish's needs with regards to the decor and setup of the aquarium. Is your fish a free swimmer? So does he need a lot of open space, but do you have it crowded with a bunch of rocks and plants and things, and inhibiting that fish from being an open water swimmer? How about fish that require caves? Fish that like to have plants at the surface, like a betta fish that likes to play in plants and rest in plants near the surface. Mabuna need lots of cave work, right? Even other kinds of, even some types of haps and peacocks will go into caves in the African cichlids. Some of the south, like my Salvini, which is off to the side here, my Salvini will often go into a cave. So again, having the right kind of decor. Point number 8, are the tank mates right for your fish? Are you keeping your fish with the right tank mates? This can fit a little bit into the water conditions, the stress, the dominance and subdominance issues. If you have the fish in a tank and it's mismatched with other fish, and that is creating a certain amount of stress, that can be a problem. A long time ago, I decided to not keep Mbuna. I love Mbuna. I love their look. I loved watching them set up their caves, but I made the choice of going with peacocks and haps. At some point in the future, maybe I'll set up a Mbuna tank. But those fish, I found, once they put on size, were so territorial and so aggressive in protecting that territory that the peacocks and haps were having a hard time coexisting with them. So even though they're from the same lake, I found them to be not compatible in a small glass box, right? And compared to the lake, even a 300-gallon tank is a small glass box. So tank mates. Also, do you have females in there? Females will bring about both a change in behavior, an increase in aggression, and also more color in the dominant fish. So having a mix of male and females, because very often, like I mentioned, color is used to attract a mate. But the trade-off is you're going to have aggression that is going to create a drop in color in the other fish. This is why in my African cichlid tanks I have all males. In my live bear tanks and my South and Central American tanks, I haven't been that concerned about it. Number 9, this one is a little bit elusive, but important. A proper level of oxygen in the water. If your oxygen is low, and it can be very subtle and manifest or show itself with the fish working their mouth just a little bit, that means that they're borderline in the amount of oxygen. And if they get into a chase or get excited about something, going after food, being chased by other fish, they're immediately going to go into not having enough oxygen. If you have a blackout, a power outage, they're going to immediately go into stress when they're right on that borderline. So you need to have plenty oxygen, and don't wait for fish hanging around at the top and gasping. By then it's too late. If they're subtly working their mouths too much, you might not have enough oxygen. That's when you address it. That's when you add an air stone, take a wave maker, point it towards the surface, take the outputs of your filters. If you have, let's say, canisters or sumps, point those outputs towards the surface so they really break up that surface tension, okay? And make sure your fish have lots. But at the same time, be aware that there are some fish that don't like a lot of water movement. If you've got, if you have discus or betta or fish like that, they don't like to be blown around. So you have to come up with like a very subtle, very, very slow running air stone, something like that. Even though with a betta, they have a type of lung where they can go to the surface and gulp air, so they don't need anything. But they don't like being blown around either. So they like to be in a tank that is pretty still. So if you know where your fish come from, do they come from still water? Do they come from ponds and lakes? Do they come from fast-running lakes, fast-running streams and rivers? That'll tell you a little bit about how much water movement you can get in that tank. Last point, and this is important, and you're probably not going to want to hear it, but it's true. Too much messing by the fish keeper. Too much messing around with the tank by the fish keeper. Messing around with moving around decor, swapping around substrate, getting in there too much, putting your hands too much in the tank, that creates stress. That startles the fish. And it's really, the less you can mess with the tank, the more you can reach a point of a mature, stable tank that requires you messing with it less, the better. Filtration that allows you to work outside of the tank, like sumps, hang-on back filters, you know, canisters that require you not getting into the tank necessarily. All these things are a good thing, and so the less you can mess around, the less stressed your fish will be, and the better color your fish will have. Okay? So those are my tips. Those are my 10 tips for getting maximum color with your fish. If you can think of some more, post them below. We all learn from each other on this channel. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope to see you on Saturday at the Cichlids and Coffee live stream, 11 a.m. Central. Every Saturday, great group of fish keepers. Come by on Facebook at Ben O''Cichlid, another great group of helpful fish keepers, and follow on Instagram at ben.o.cichlid for some behind-the-scenes video and other insights you don't see anywhere else. If you'd like to support the continued content creation on this channel, please consider becoming a Patreon monthly supporter. Starts for as little as $3 a month. Details are in the description. Thank you, my friends. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.